Welcome to the USPBL Network for the second matchup in 3 days between the division-leading Utica Unicorns and Westside Woolly Mammoths. Utica took a 6-3 win over Westside on Friday night. Westside tries to bounce back today on what is a beautiful Sunday afternoon here at Jimmy John's Field. Alongside Jenna Rose, I'm Jason Ross Jr. We'll kick today's pregame show off by previewing your pitching matchup. We have two right-handers today. On the west side of things, it'll be Donovan Thacker in search of his first professional victory. And for the Unicorns, we'll have right-hander Miguel Sereno in his second start of the season. But kicking it off with Westside, they have the lowest combined team ERA in the league right now entering today.
Yes, Donovan Thacker has an ERA of 3.38, averaging about 18 pitches per inning. Again, looking for his first professional win here at the USPBL. When we look at Thacker's arsenal, we're going to see a fastball-slider combination, but essentially looking at that fastball, that sits in the upper 80s. Again, we talked about the slider, and he also incorporates his changeup, which we will primarily see used against lefties, but because his slider, it's fairly hard for his breaking ball. That's why it's important to incorporate a pitch that has a different velocity entailed with it. And what's exciting about Thacker, when we look at the pitching staff for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, out of at least 100 pitches thrown, he's averaging for the most first strikes, which is at just over 50%. So it's going to be exciting to see what he can do on the mound here for the Madonna alum. But Jason, we've got to talk about Miguel Sereno making his second start of the season for the Unicorns.
One of the nicest guys that you will ever chat with here on the USPBL campus. You and I had the pleasure of playing wiffle ball with him yesterday, so we saw some of his arsenal firsthand. On the actual mound today, he will feature a four-seam fastball, two-seam fastball, in addition to a slider and changeup. The two-seam fastball and the slider are the two most prominent pitches that we'll probably see today out of Sereno, who pitched 2 innings in his first start, walked 2. So right now it's perhaps the longevity, seeing if he can attack hitters early and avoid walks as well today to keep the pitch count low and maybe go a little bit longer today. A guy who has an excellent story that we'll talk about today on the broadcast. Grew up in Puerto Rico, learned how to play baseball by way of initially throwing coconuts into the ocean, and then fell in love with the game. Has such a wonderful, wonderful story that we're excited to tell in the broadcast today. But first, again, a recap of Friday night's game. It was a 6-3 win for Utica over the Westside Woolly Mammoths, and the potent nature of that Utica lineup was on display.
Oh yeah, definitely a big punch from the 3, 4th, and 5th spots. They all had 2-run home runs, which contributed to the total of 6 runs. So we're going to be on the lookout for Sakopoulos, Childress, and Galassi again, who all contributed with their 2-run home runs. And we also have some bats on the Westside Woolly Mammoths side of things, specifically a Noah Moore, a big power hitter, and along with that, Spencer McGee, both having phenomenal seasons so far at the plate. So keep an eye out for both coming up here today. Now, we've got to talk about the lineups, though. So, Jason, who are we going to see for the Utica Unicorns?
As you noted, Jen, talents on both sides. Kicking it off with the Utica side. Leading off will be Frankie Leska. He has been really good in that leadoff spot and playing left field. Ryan Ray will do the catching and bat second for the Unicorns. Batting third will be Drew Galassi and playing in center field. In the cleanup spot, it's Noah Childress. He's playing right field today. Ari Sakopoulos, who had one of the homers, as Jenna mentioned the other day, he'll bat fifth and play at first base. Aaron Takis has the hot corner. He'll bat sixth. Jordan Finney plays the DH role, batting 7th. And in the 8th spot, it's Donovan Curiel at shortstop, where he has been very smooth. And rounding out the lineup and batting 9th is John Hodo, playing second base.
For the West Side, it'll be T. Bauer, who is the designated hitter, leading things off. Spencer McGee batting second, playing third base. Batting third is Lamar Briggs out in center field. Batting cleanup is Noah Moore at first base. In right field, Jalen Smith batting fifth. Adrian Guzman batting sixth at shortstop. The left fielder, Antonio Carta, will be batting 7th. Colton Horner catching will be batting 8th. And to round up the lineup will be Norberto Navarro playing second base.
It should be a fun one, Jen. Again, first pitch shortly after 1 p.m. on the USPBL Network. We'll have the call today. Again, tune in today, a little after 1 p.m. Utica and Westside, the division leaders, clashing for the second time in 3 days.
Stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
Welcome into the USPBL Network. Jason Ross Jr. alongside Jenna Rose today, filling in for Jeremy Otto. A fun matchup between Utica and Westside for the second time in 3 days. Unicorns beat the Woolly Mammoths 6-3 the other day on Friday night. Both sides leading their respective divisions. Utica at 5-1 on the season, leading the East Division. Mammoths at 3-2, leading the West Division. We'll kick things off with our Ascension pitching preview. Jenna bringing you in for the first time on the analyst chair today. Fun matchup between two right-handers. We have Miguel Sereno on the Utica side of things and Donovan Thacker getting the start for Westside.
Yep, right-hander Donovan Thacker gets the nod. This is going to be his third start of the season, coming in with an ERA of 3.38 through those two starts, looking for his first professional win, averaging about 18 pitches per inning. What specifically we're going to see from Thacker on the mound, it's fastball-slider combination, and he's been incorporating his changeup through the last couple of starts. During his first, he only used it twice, and now utilizing that more, he's able to keep batters off balance. Definitely one of the stronger pitches when we look at Thacker's arsenal. And again with his slider, and that's what we're going to see from Thacker's side of things. And specifically when we look over to Miguel Sereno,
we'll check out Miguel Sereno a second when we come back from break here at Jimmy John's Field. Welcome back into the USPBL Network. Beautiful 75-degree day. Cooled off a little bit today. I'd like to thank our proud sponsors here at Jimmy John's Field. Another presentation of today's broadcast. Fairy Tale Entertainment, AAA, Ascension, and Belfour Property Restoration. In addition to Budweiser, DTE, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, Discover, Connect, Advance. McLaren Macomb, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers. Remember, Chevy drives the Motor City. And Pepsi. Scott's, let's get to the yard. UWM, the #1 wholesale lender in the nation. Once again, thank you to all of our proud sponsors here on the USPBL Network. Jason Ross Jr. alongside Jenna Rose. Jenna, circling back to Miguel Sereno, who started on the opposite side of the guy who's on the mound right now in Thacker.
Right-hander Sereno. Typically, when we look at his arsenal, he's going to be utilizing a fastball changeup combination. We see his four-seam and two-seam, but specifically what works so well for him is his two-seam and his changeup because it's very deceptive coming out of the same slot, same delivery. So keep an eye out for that on the mound. That fastball is sitting around low 90s, and along with that changeup down in the 80s. So again, very powerful arsenal we're going to see from Sereno. He has that speed working to keep batters off balance.
Again, should be a fun pitching matchup today. Thacker in search of his first professional win. The defense behind him, you look at the infield alignment. Spencer McGee has the start at third. From left to right, Adrian Guzman at short. Norberto Navarro at second base. Noah Moore at first base. Doing the catching will be Colton Horner. And in the outfield from left to right, Antonio Carta. Lamar Briggs will be in center field. And Jalen Smith makes the start in right field. For the Woolly Mammoths, and on the Utica side of things, leading off is a man who has been very good in the leadoff spot, Frankie Luxa. First pitch from Thacker pours in for a strike called. More often than not, he's been working ahead in counts so far this year of pitchers on the Woolly Mammoth staff with at least 100 pitches. He leads that category in first pitch strikes.
Luxka feels that one of the most powerful things about his swing is his timing and his discipline at the plate. He can see the velo, can hit speed, off speed, and he can adjust easily. And he can see the ball out of the pitcher's hand clearly. He can pick up the spin.
Cranks a base hit through the 5-6 hole into left field. And as Luxa has been doing ever since he stepped into that leadoff spot, filling in for Aaron Takis, finds himself another spot on base.
Luxka feels that one of his keys to success is that he's so relaxed in the box. And when we look at previous off seasons, he's put so much work into his swing, and obviously we can see it's paying off here in the USPBL.
He was hitting 400 with 7 homers, 29 RBI during his final season at Madonna before making the decision to move on to pro ball. That brings up Ryan Ray, who's catching for the first time this season today. That's exactly what you want out of your leadoff hitter, though, to get on base. And Luxa follows it up once again with the base hit. As we see strike called on the outside corner there from Thacker, dropping it down to 80 miles per hour. The changeup in tandem with the fastball, as Jenna talked about in our pitching preview, is what's been very effective so far for Thacker when he has success, because he gets a swing and a miss there to go up 1-2 in the count. But he'll throw that changeup, G, on really any count. Ray reaches out, pokes one into center field, and tracking back to make the catch was the shortstop, Adrian Guzman. Throw to first to try to double off. Luxa is not in time. But a beautiful play by Guzman. One of, if not the best, shortstops to ever come through the USPBL, drifting back and making a beautiful play.
Yes, he has a fantastic pre-pitch approach, always ready as the ball's getting, or could be coming off the bat. Got a nice read, got it over the shoulder.
Brings up Drew Galassi, who the other night when these teams met up hit what was the go-ahead homer. Kind of got the party started in what was a 4-run 6th inning. Utica trailed 3-2 heading into the 6th, but it was Galassi's homer followed up by Ari Sakopoulos' homer that bolted the Unicorns in front, ultimately won it 6-3.
What I love about that moment is that Galassi's been trying to change his mindset from being a power hitter to keeping it to the batter's eye, and even doing that, he was still able to get that 2-run home run. So he definitely has the power, even though we don't see much of a stride when we look at his mechanics.
Team leading 8 RBIs on the season. Batting .368. Jenna's right. See it on the screen there. No stride in the swing, which can scare some people. But as we've talked about, Jen, it's all about what makes you comfortable as a hitter. There's no one way to really do it.
Absolutely. That's what we love about baseball. No cookie cutter swing. Whatever gets you ready in your rhythm and your timing, all that matters is getting your hands to the ball.
The 1-1 is down and in for ball 2. And he's doing something right, because it seems like seemingly every day he is the player of the game in your Auto Lab post-game show.
Oh, yeah. 3 straight broadcasts, I believe he came on. I think he's getting sick of us.
Getting a little sick of us at this point. He's always got that smile on his face. The 2-1. Taken for ball 3. Now a hitter's count for Galassi, who's in the driver's seat here. This is where he can be pretty dangerous when you give him the green light. Described as a power threat by Director of Player Development here at the USPBL, Willie Martin, who we had the pleasure of chatting with before the game. Much needed strike for Thacker, who gave up a leadoff base hit to Frankie Luxka. The lone out recorded by way of a wonderful catch made by Humberto Navarro, or beg your pardon, Adrian Guzman, drifting back from his shortstop positioning. Luxka takes off. He can slow down, though, however, because that's ball 4. As Galassi will take first base, and advancing to second goes Luxka. That brings up Noah Childress, another one of the home run hitters the other night. Team leading 3 home runs, all of which have come to left field, which he has some awesome power to on the pull side.
Graduate of Lourdes University. During his college days, he was hitting .435 his senior year with 15 doubles and 13 home runs, 49 RBI.
The first pitch is just off the outside part of the plate. Felt like he was leading not only Lourdes, but the WAC conference in general in practically every category offensively. Batting average, slugging percentage, runs, hits, RBIs, home runs, you name it. Noah Childress probably led the category during his senior season of college at Lourdes. Now he has a hitter's count at 2-0. See Luxka at second base.
Got things going in the first inning. The last time these two teams squared off, looking to do so again.
It's a high strike called, 2-1. Galassi at first after the walk. Utica is leading the USPBL in walks so far this season. That was the 25th drawn.
Seeing Childress jump around a bit defensively. We've seen him at the corners, out in the outfield, so just finding a way here in the USPBL to make him more versatile when he hopefully one day gets the big call.
And making his debut in right field today after making his first few appearances at third base over the past couple of games. He lifts this one to right center field. Coming in is Briggs. He's cut off by Smith, who will make the catch for out number 2.
See the hat fall off out there. Should have worn a bucket hat like I did earlier today. You got
had
the
bucket
strap
hat
right
going.
around the neck. Yeah.
The in-booth attire of Jenna Rose. Pleasure to have you with us today on the USPBL Network. Jason Ross Jr. filling in for Jeremy Otto. Jenna Rose in the analyst chair. Ari Sakopoulos. Feels like every time someone comes up to bat, we mention that they hit a home run the other night. Sakopoulos hit his first pro homer on Friday night. The 3-4-5 hitters all had 2-run bombs for Utica a couple of days ago off Willie Mammoth's pitching. First pitch is fouled off for strike 1. For Donovan Thacker on the mound today, another point of conversation, Jenna. We touched on the changeup in tandem with the fastball. Only threw 2 changeups in that first start, which wasn't quite as good as his second start when he noticeably increased the usage of the changeup, was throwing it to almost every batter he faced, and that certainly made a difference.
That's a changeup that he continued to work for in his college days, because we had the opportunity to talk with Madonna's head coach, Coach Karn, and he was saying that that was one of his most utilized pitches when he was able to get it in the zone.
That time goes to what appeared to be the slider. Utilizes the 4-seam just over 50% of the time. There's a 1-ball, 2-strike count now to Sakopoulos. Lefty in the Utica lineup facing the right-hander. The 1-2 is fouled off once again.
Definitely in the most potent part of the lineup. As you said before, it seems like every time a batter's stepping into the box, we're talking about how well they did the last time they faced the Woolly Mammoths on Friday night. Again, the 3, 4, and 5th spots, they all had 2-run home runs.
And Galassi, Childress, and Sakopoulos. Little dribbler to the mounds, and that'll retire the side. So Thacker works around the leadoff base hit and the walk to Drew Galassi to escape unscathed. A wonderful crowd on hand again today. We have our sweetheart of the game. So we'll take a peek at next up here. Stephanie chosen as JJ's sweetheart of the game. Hey guys, I'm not seeing it on the monitor.
You know, I've given JJ plenty of belly rubs, so I'm a little upset that I have not been his sweetheart of the game.
He's destined to choose you at some point or another here. There is JJ, who was pumped up as usual prior to the game. So Stephanie was given the honors. Miguel Sereno steps onto the mound. Speaking of the sweetheart of the game, Jen, we had a fun story prior to last night's game between the Beavers and Hoppers. One of Miguel Sereno's best friends, Austin Shoemaker, the catcher for the Beavers, proposed to his girlfriend of 6 years, Caitlin, who you had the pleasure of interviewing. And it was so neat because Caitlin threw out the first pitch of the game. Sereno was kind of in on the secret. Austin obviously caught it, playing catcher, then popped out the question.
It looked like a scene out of a movie. It was so adorable, and I had the opportunity to interview Caitlin, as you mentioned, after the 3rd inning in the 2nd game of that doubleheader, and she was glowing just as bright even after a few innings have gone by. I mean, I can't imagine the surprise. They've been together for 6 years, high school sweethearts. She came all the way up from Arizona. What a beautiful moment, and how special to share that here with his teammates here at USPBL.
Yeah, Miguel Sereno, who's on the mound right now, told us, I might have been more nervous for yesterday than I am for my start today. Because he's roommates with Austin Shoemaker, the catcher of the Beavers. And he was really invested in the secret, which remained a secret until the question was popped. So now here is start number 2 of the season for Miguel Sereno, who delivers his first pitch of the afternoon to Trent Bauer, who's in the leadoff spot today for the Woolly Mammoths.
Yeah, Bauer is a designated hitter for today. They're looking to see what he can do right now, 0-3.
Bauer with an early 2-0 count with which to work. And delivers a base hit into left field. May round first. He'll hold up thanks to the strong arm from Frankie Luxka in left field today. But leadoff hits for both teams to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, we can see he has plenty of movement in his stance, Jason, with his hands, but being able to do so, finding that rhythm, he was able to find his hands to the ball and take it out to left.
And Bauer's a guy who they simply want to see get a few more at-bats today in that leadoff spot and off to a nice start. That brings up Spencer McGee, USPBL Player of the Week last week. Hit the first home run of the season in the USPBL this year. Spoke to McGee prior to the game. Wonderful guy to chat with. Played for Indiana Tech in college.
McGee's a switch hitter, and something he told us before the game is that he feels like he needs to get a little more power from his left side, and something when he hits from the right as well, he has a harder time seeing the slider. But on that note of the slider, that's something that Sereno is hoping to improve on this season when we look at his arsenal.
We've seen the slider a couple of times so far from Sereno. Back-to-back 2-0 counts. Gets a much-needed strike called there. You noted McGee can switch hit. Batting left-handed here against the righty. It's interesting that one home run I mentioned came from the right side. In college, 11 of his 12 home runs as a senior came from the left side. So most of the power has come from the left side. But that one home run so far this year, interestingly, has been from the right side. They feel he does have legitimate power from both sides. Here comes the 2-1. That's outside now, 3-1 for McGee. For 3 on Friday night against Utica. So a guy who feels he's due for a hit. Sereno's 3-1 is his second walk of the day.
Next up, the center fielder, number 7.
These two teams, as I noted, Utica leads the USPBL in walks drawn entering today offensively. Utica's right behind them now with 24 on the season. Utica has 25. Beg your pardon, I should say Westside right behind them with 24 on the season. Utica has 25 as Lamar Briggs steps to the plate.
We had a wonderful conversation with Briggs before heading into this game, and I love what he said about baseball. It's a hard sport. You're going to fail more times than you succeed, but all you have to know is that you're good, you can play the game, and to believe in yourself every day.
That's a quote that he has up on the header of his Twitter profile. The baseball is a hard sport. You're going to fail more times than you succeed. And a guy who really embraces the work ethic side of things when it comes to believing in his own abilities. Was a 4-year starter at Jackson State as he takes a big cut there, 1-1.
When he's back home, he works with his hitting coach, Kevin Hill, and one of the major goals in this offseason was to work to keep his legs, to generate power, and to get more out of his swing. He says he's always been able to hit for high average, but he wants to continue to do so and hit for more power.
In the 3-hole once again today for the Woolly Mammoths. Delivers a fly ball to left field. And ranging over to make the play is Luska, who's been busy so far.
Next up, the first baseman, number 18, Noah Moore.
When we talk about Noah Moore, not only does he have a power arm, especially when we see him in the catching position, but he also has a power bat. When you look at his 5 home runs back when he was playing at Madonna his senior year, 2 were from his pole side, the other the opposite way, and one was hit straight away. So he has the capability to send the ball anywhere out in the field.
Sereno's first pitch to Moore. I'll say that was bit high for a ball. First pitch strikes is something to look for out of Sereno. Can he find them today? Walked a couple in 2 innings of work in what was an abbreviated first start. Pitched just 2 innings last Sunday before Utica opted to move on to their bullpen. The 1-0 is cranked foul down the left field line. Beg your pardon, I want to apologize. I mentioned Sereno had 2 walks, just 1 walk so far after the leadoff base hit for Trevor Bauer. McGee then reached by way of the walk. The 1-1 lifted to the opposite field. And that will end up in the glove of Jalen Smith, but advancing to third goes Trent Bauer.
Next up, the right fielder, number 2, Jalen Smith.
So now Jalen Smith steps up to bat, hitting .286 on the season so far, in the number 5 spot, and playing in right field today. Really good utility guy that Westside can move from the infield to the outfield. Delivers a ground ball to short here. Donovan Curiel, who is as smooth as can be at short, helps set up the third and final out of the bottom half of the first. Oh, no score after the first inning. We go into the Fairy Tale Entertainment video here.
We would like to give a big shout out to
Hey guys, we sticking around. You're going to the Fairy Tale Entertainment.
If you're planning a birthday party or event of
We'll step aside on the USPBL network.
at fairytaleyourparty.com, the very best in live character entertainment.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
And welcome back to the USPBL network. Let's take a look at our Fairy Tale Entertainment video for today. As Donovan Thacker gets set to warm up on the mound for his second inning of work. First, we have our freaky fast facts. Canine officers were first used in America back in 1907 in New York City. Fast facts brought to you by Jimmy John's, by the way. Also, police dogs played an important role in searching for victims during the 9/11 attacks. More than 100 search and rescue dogs looked for survivors. Police dogs can tell the difference between identical twins. Interesting. While this may fool the eyes of a human, dogs are trained to use their noses.
What did we do to deserve dogs?
I know. We got JJ.
We have JJ.
You have a Jack. You have a J in your household, Jack.
Yeah, Jack, an
The
Aussie.
Aussie Shepherd.
Crazy hyper dog.
That brings up Aaron Takis. Good to see him back in the batter's box after missing the last few games with an injury. Was off to a very hot start through the first couple of games. Was hitting .571. Granted, just a couple of games, but 4 hits, 3 walks. They really like what he can do in the 5 spot today. That first inning of work saw Donovan Thacker give up the leadoff base hit to Frankie Luxka, who continued his momentum. And Galassi reached base, but Thacker worked out of it, as he now has a 2-1 count on Takis. And Takis was hitting out of the leadoff spot in the early stages of the season, those first couple of games prior to the injury. But now moved into the 5 spot, which with the guys that are in front of him, 3, 4, 5, Galassi, Childress, Sakopoulos, could set him up in a nice RBI slot moving forward. If they do decide to keep it this way. Goes down on strikes. So unlike the first inning, Thacker able to strike out the leadoff hitter and get a quick out. That brings up Jordan Finney. Local kid who went to Cranbrook Kingswood High School. Former All-Oakland County, All-State honors. Had 9 family members in attendance on opening day.
Even though Finney's hitting from the designated hitter position today, not catching, he is arguably one of the best catchers in the USPBL. He can manage the pitching staff, he can take control of the game, and most importantly, he can hit.
Yeah, when you, as we've talked about this season, can be good defensively behind the dish as a catcher and then add a spark of offense as well, only adds on to the value for him in the lineup and both defensively. Finney delivers the 2-0 on the grounds. Guzman, one of the better shortstops, if not the best in the league, tosses to first for out number 2.
Next up, the shortstop, number 14, Donovan Gurriel.
Thacker with intentions of a potential 1-2-3 inning here, but not an easy task. And Donovan Gurriel, who's hitting .316. 6 hits, 4 walks so far this season. Steps to the plate for the first time today.
He's also one of the fastest players in the league, too, so he's got some speed, and he's heading down to first.
Runs a 4-2 down the line.
Jason, how fast can you run down the line?
Ooh, may have to do some pregame testing on that one of these days. I know it isn't 4-2, but that could be a fun thing to examine one of these days. Yeah, Gurriel is such an awesome athlete. Does a lot of speed drills and delivers a sharply grounded ball into left field. He will stay at first, but picks up where he left off.
Second baseman number 2, John Hodo.
Would definitely describe Gurriel as a dynamic athlete, and having that raw athleticism coming into play the game of baseball, that just helps you in multiple aspects, and we especially see that with his range. We look at the shortstop position and just now with his speed.
John Hodo steps up to the plate. Jen, something you and I have talked about in the past is what they call the whip appeal, which ties into the multi-sport athlete and the athleticism, how that kind of plays a role in swings.
Yeah, essentially just having that raw power. And when we look at Hodo here, he's coming in at 20 at-bats so far this season, only tallying 3 hits. But what's going to be key for Hodo is just to keep his head on the ball and trust in his athleticism. Precision trumps power.
This is a ground ball to seconds, and it'll be enough for the final out of the inning. So Thacker again able to work around a hit from Gurriel. Still scoreless after 1.5 innings of play. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Next up on the USPBL Network.
Whenever my family wants to enjoy the great outdoors, we pack up my Chevy Blazer and go camping in style. It looks great, and with the cargo management system, we can bring all the comforts of home away from home. Plus, with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi, the kids can still stay connected with friends. Thanks to my Blazer, roughing it isn't rough at all.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2 LT for just $219 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Into the bottom of the second inning now. Our softy ball toss is currently going on here at Jimmy John's Field. You see 2 hits for Utica, a couple of left on base. Had to walk as well as Miguel Sereno steps out for his second inning of work. A right-hander who also worked around the leadoff base hit and then a walk in the bottom of the first.
Sereno is definitely one of the nicest guys you'll talk to in the league. And Jason, I loved our conversation with him the other day, specifically the story when it came to the coconuts.
Oh yeah, began his love for baseball in Puerto Rico, where he used to throw coconuts into the ocean. As the pitch pours in just inside against Guzman for ball 1. But again, yeah, used to throw coconuts into the ocean back in Puerto Rico. I believe he said he was mad one day, threw a coconut in the ocean, went back home to his dad, Michael, who played professional baseball in Puerto Rico for a while, and said, I think I want to play baseball. Hasn't really looked back since.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a different size with the coconuts and the baseball. I Googled this earlier today. A coconut on average weighs 1.5 pounds. When you look at a baseball, it's like just a little over 5 ounces. So a little different. But if he's chucking them, you know, back in the day, then it must be that much easier to throw a baseball.
Mentioned he throws the 4-seam, 2-seam, slider and changeup. We had the opportunity to see a couple of his pitches yesterday. What was a wiffle ball session with him, but nonetheless, I have to say I did get a base hit off Miguel Sereno.
Yes, we did hit
double
off
down the left
Miguel
field line.
Sereno.
Yes. Wiffle ball again, though. Not quite the same as what's taking place right now. He's got a 2-2 count on Guzman. We've already seen make a wonderful play at short today. Drifting back into shallow left field. Made kind of a basket catch over his shoulder. Has a full count now. Guzman pokes this into foul territory on the right side. Former Utica Unicorn, played for the Unicorns in 2018 and 19. Again, one of the better middle infielders in the USPBL. One of the best shortstops to ever come through the USPBL. Actually was in the Twins organization at one point, but was cut due to COVID-related reasons.
Who's even described as one of the best defensive players within that organization.
It's interesting to see, with the minor league seasons being affected last year, as he will fly out to right field, where Noah Childress makes his second catch of the day.
His debut out in right field is going off to a nice start here today.
Yeah, his debut at third last week also got off to a nice start. We mentioned the ability to be versatile, playing different positions, whether that's in the infield or outfield. They want him particularly playing corner infield and outfield spots. He swings the bat so well. Defensively, just an athlete that they feel can move around and be versatile. Here's Antonio Carta, former U of M Dearborn Wolverine, takes the first pitch strike from Sereno.
What's cool about U of M Dearborn, Jason, was that Carter was a part of the inaugural team coming in, so he helped build up a program. So it's fun to see those leadership skills start to take place here in the USPBL.
Hit by the pitch there, so he'll take a base. Cartzo went to Cabriti High School. Another guy we mentioned, multi-sport athlete, played football and baseball. It's now Colton Horner, who's doing the catching today for the Woolly Mammoths, who will step up to the plate. Humberto Navarro behind him as we get down into the bottom third of the Westside lineup.
Horner, the former Utica Unicorn.
And played 7 games with Unicorns in 2020, as this time around it's a ball on the first pitch from Sereno. Formerly with the Roswell Invaders as well of the Pecos League. Takes quite the hack there. Count now 1-1. Sereno drops it down to 75 that time. Working outside of the zone, 2-1. Something that Willie Martin told us prior to the game is that with Sereno, at times it can be working from outside of the strike zone to the inside part of the strike zone, whereas though they want it to be the other way around. They want him starting off, establishing in the strike zone, then potentially getting batters to chase. This is grounded to second. They'll look for 2. The relay is in time. So 4-6-3 they go for the twin killing, an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play to retire the side and help out Sereno with the ground ball he needed. After 2 innings of play, we are scoreless here at Jimmy John's Field.
Fans, make sure you visit your favorite police dog heroes around the ballpark today, courtesy of Fairy Tale Entertainment. And don't forget to
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
Welcome back into the USPBL Network. Jason Ross Jr. alongside Jenna Rose today, filling in for Jeremy Otto. We have Jake Hillman in the analytics chair sitting next to us, Matthew Snyder as well. Donovan Thacker coming out for his 3rd inning of work. Has worked around runners on base in each of the first 2 innings out.
Again, thank you for joining us here on the USPBL Network. We got the chat going on YouTube. 81 watching with us now. Thank you for joining us. We've got some comments here from Paige Patch. Go Mammoths. Her favorites in order are the Hoppers, then the Beavers, then the Woolly Mammoths, and last the Unicorns. The 2 teams that are playing here today. Last favorites. But we're seeing a lot of positive messages from D-Money here. Let's go Utica Unicorns.
Always a lot of purple in the stands when the Unicorns are in action. Best record in the USPBL right now at 5-1. Atop the East Division, taking on the Woolly Mammoths at 3-2 atop the West Division. And Frankie Luska, who led things off with a base hit in the top of the first, will step up for his 2nd time to bat and swings at the first pitch. This is popped up into foul ground. Spencer McGee ranging over. Couldn't quite make the play, looking into those blue sunglasses of his.
Luxka has said in the past that, especially in this league, he's seen most of the pitchers already this season 2 or 3 times. So most of the time he knows what they're going to throw, and sometimes that way you can eliminate pitches because they're not going to be in the zone, especially if you see one that you know that a pitcher cannot throw for a strike.
Oh, Luska awaiting the 0-1. Takes a pitch high for ball 1. Jen, when you played in the infield and the outfield on a sunny day like this, I know you told me you used to, just in general, to check the wind, toss a piece of grass up into the air. when you were in left, as that pitch brushes back Luska a bit. Any, I guess, pregame routine to examine how to look up into the sun? Or did you wear glasses?
Yeah, so for me, I definitely wore a visor, had my sunglasses, but there's different approaches you can take when it comes to the ball coming your way, specifically bringing up your mitt to cover the sun.
This is popped up, drifting back from second to make the call and make the catch is Norberto Navarro.
You can see for Navarro, though, there was no issue with the sun today, so we'll have to see during the later stages of the game. But it's an afternoon game, so I think we should be good. But on that note, with checking the wind, they're pretty lucky here because if you look back in center field, they have the flag flying in the back, so you don't have to tear up the grass here at USPBL, Jimmy John's Field.
Ryan pops up this into foul grounds. Several players ranging over. Ultimately, it's the first baseman, Noah Moore, to make the catch for out number 2.
Number 24, Drew Galassi, playing for the Western Illinois Athletics in his freshman year. He had a day, going 5 for 5 with 2 grand slams and 10 RBIs.
That brings up Drew Galassi for his second at-bat of the day. Drew a walk first time up.
We've talked about how Galassi has had a different approach at the plate. He even told us that this last season, making that change to just going to hard contact, he had huge jumps, strikeout numbers were down.
Delivers this one to the opposite field, and that is gone! Back-to-back games with a homer for Drew Galassi. The smile is on his face once again. A solo shot is the difference right now between the Unicorns and the Woolly Mammoths.
Man, Galassi can definitely generate power. We've even talked about the lack of the stride, but you can see there he squares up, sends the ball up over the left field fence.
William Martin, as we talked about earlier, described him as a power threat. Has so much rhythm in that swing, and just speaking with our analytics crew earlier this week, gets such a quick punch to the baseball. And kind of has the somewhat closed stance, which can help you with that power to the opposite field. As a righty now steps up in Childress, he has a lot of power to the pull side. This is a ground ball to second and an easy out to retire the side for the Woolly Mammoths. It is the last out of the top of the third, which is the 5th third out of the game. Sponsor is Fifth Third Bank. We'll step aside here on the USPBL network. Drew Galassi's bomb to left field gives the Unicorns a 1-0 lead here on the USPBL network.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance.
Oh, yeah.
They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Welcome back to the USPBL network. The lone run on the board right now as we head into the bottom of the third off the bat of Drew Galassi. His team leading 3rd home run of the season. Matching with Noah Childress in that category as Miguel Sereno steps back up to the plate. And take a moment to take a look at JJ, the water boy, who we saw earlier today. And again, he was pretty pumped up once again. Anyway, I'm not sure if we're going to see JJ here, but when we do.
You can imagine.
Yeah,
very
we can
happy
imagine
pup
JJ.
trotting
yes.
around Jimmy John's Field. But, you know, again, fun conversation that we had with Sereno the other day, one of the pitchers that he loves to study is Jacob deGrom, and this is just insane. Through 10 appearances, deGrom's ERA is 0.56 so far this season.
That's some electric stuff.
It is, and along with deGrom, Sereno also likes to study Max Scherzer because he feels they have the same arm slot. So then when he's struggling, that's a pitcher that he likes to look at, to study.
Yeah, that was interesting to hear him talk about. He said even when he's kind of struggling as he gets a first pitch swing and miss from Navarro, when he's struggling, Sereno likes to go back and watch Max Scherzer. Quickly working, 0-1 is fouled off, now 0-2 to put Sereno in the driver's seat. Sereno set his personal goals entering the season: command all three of his pitches, changeup, fastball, and slider, in addition to getting signed by the end of the season. And you talk to a lot of guys around here, that is the goal. You want to move on to the next level. They feel Sereno has the stuff to do that. Again, it's working to the strike zone more often than working out of the zone as he tries to draw a swing and miss out of the zone there, but holding up is Navarro on a ball that skipped away from Ray. Leadoff hitter has reached on both occasions against Sereno so far today. Now into his third inning of work out of the windup, 2-2. That's a ball, so make it a full count. This is bounced on the ground to short. Donovan Curiel, as smooth as it gets at shortstop. The transition from glove to hand to first, no hesitation whatsoever, as we typically see out of him.
Yeah, it was really interesting hearing Curiel's routine with his daily drills. He has the pad work that he works with the flat glove, bare hand work, and a lot of stuff off of the fungo. But he said the best reps are live BP, and it's just like the same angle that you get in games, and you want to be as realistic and stay as true to the game as possible to get those reps.
He loves to watch Javi Baez, Francisco Lindor, Trevor Story, as the first pitch to Trent Bauer. Back to the top of the order for the Woolly Mammoths is a ball. More often than not, first pitches have been balls so far today from Sereno. Mentions Sereno's story of growing up in Puerto Rico, throwing coconuts into the ocean to develop his love of baseball, as Bauer is looking for his second base hit of the game, but coming in making a nice play in left is Frankie Luska, who has been busy out in left field today. Sereno, prior to finding out about this opportunity in the USPBL, was out in Arizona playing for the Ottawa Spirit, where he had a good tenure, and at the time he was working a landscaping job, and it was a Thursday, I believe it was a Thursday afternoon, received a text saying, "Can you come here and pitch on Sunday?" His answer was an immediate yes, on the spot, quit, in his words, the landscaping job, got up, walked away, as he gets a first pitch strike there to McGee. Hopped on a flight to Michigan, found himself pitching on Sunday, and in his words, chasing the dream. Goal is to be a major league starter, as the bat goes flying out of the hands of McGee, quickly 0-2 with 2 outs. But again, as Jenna noted earlier in the broadcast, one of the nicer guys that you will ever chat with actually works at the ballpark on off days.
Yeah, that's how we that's how we got him to play wiffle ball with us over in the kids' corner.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot less threatening on that mound than what we're seeing out here right now.
I mentioned I had a base hit off Sereno, but granted it was wiffle ball. Struck us out a couple of times too. Looking to strike out McGee here, and does just that to retire the side. So Sereno works a 1-2-3 frame, and that'll do it for the third inning. Unicorns up 1-0 thanks to the solo shot from Drew Galassi. You're watching the USPBL Network.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Unicorns up 1-0, trying to back up what they did the last time up to bat. It was the solo shot from Drew Galassi, his third homer of the year and second in as many days, I should say, in as many games. Back-to-back games, the homer now for Galassi, who has been red hot. I asked our fine analytics man today, Jake Hillman, the other day, what do you like about Galassi? And he said, I like everything about Galassi. It's the preparation, his swing, his power. We saw the power to the opposite field that last time up. And at the moment, though, still just a one-run game, as it was for the vast majority of Friday night when these teams met up. Again, that was a 6-3 win for Utica over the Mammoths. It was really predicated mostly on that explosion of a 4-run sixth inning that included two-run homers from Galassi and Sakopoulos. Unicorns are leading the USPBL in extra base hits with now 13 after the Galassi homer. Speaking of those homers, here comes Ari Sakopoulos, second time up to bat today. He had his first pro homer on Friday night. Sakopoulos, the first baseman, 25 home runs over 4 seasons at the College of Charleston. Into the top of the fourth. Thacker's first pitch of the frame is a strike. Miguel Sereno worked a 1-2-3 bottom half of the third. Sakopoulos lifts this high in the air. Everyone coming in on the mound to take it as the shortstop, Guzman, who has priority over his fellow infielders.
You know, we've had this in conversations, Jason, prior to the broadcast, but it's so important having a strategic pre-pitch approach, and that's something that we even talked about with Curiel previously. He has a bit of a 1-2 hop. You can see almost the same thing here with Guzman, but that gets you set up, ready to have that range and get that extra jump to get to the ball. It can be subtle, but it keeps you on the ball of your feet, not on your heels.
The mental side of the game that you don't typically take notice of, as Takis is up to bat for his second time today. Missed those couple of games with injuries, but yeah, the mental side, whether you're in the outfield or the infields, the information that the coaching staff has given you versus the instinctive nature of it, also interesting to think about, as it's now 1-1 on Takis.
Takis recently coming off the DL, and they're just trying to make sure that he's healthy to not hinder his performance, getting good swings and good at-bats, essentially just staying consistent with quality contact.
He's got the hitter's count here at 2-1. 0 for 1 today, but was again batting .571 through those first couple of games before the injury. Grounds to second here. Norberto Navarro, easy routine flip to Noah Moore for out number 2. Both of these pitchers getting good ground ball outs. We've seen pitches down in the zone, inducing weak contact from both Sereno and Thacker. Just the one solo shot to limit the damage so far off Thacker. There's Drew Galassi, who hit it out of the park over the left field fence. Brings up the DH, Jordan Finney, who Jenna mentioned is typically a catcher, but in the DH role today. Mentioned he had 9 family members in the stands on opening day. He said it's so awesome to have his family only have about a 5-minute drive here to the park. They all live in Macomb counties. He has aunts, uncles, grandparents that are so happy to see him play. Went to Albion College, where, again, he had a very good 4-year career. That was a bit of a longer drive for his family members, about 2 hours away. The 2-0 is a strike called. It's 2-1 now.
What a fun place for your family to come watch you play. Again, the fans, the numbers that they had back at Albion cannot compare here to USPBL, and especially all the fun games they have planned.
His parents, Shane and Sue, are dedicated fans. They hit practically every game during his high school career at Cranbrook Kingswood. Same thing at Albion. But now has more family members that can come and watch. And he has an interesting story as strike 2 pours in, now 3-2 a full count, because he found out about the USPBL. The opportunity was really given to him during the COVID year, 2020, when there was less scouting, less camps going on, but found his way in and is very grateful for this opportunity. He punches the 3-2. That'll dunk in fair into right field for a base hit. So the payoff pitch just tucked inside the line there with 2 outs.
Putting the ball in play can do some damage, but we saw just like a little dinker that dropped right in there. That's where communication is key between your infielders and outfielders.
Brings up Donovan Curiel. 1 for 1 today, had a single his first time up to bat. And a guy batting a shade over 300 so far this season. Hoping to get a 2-out rally going for the Unicorns, who lead it 1-0 thanks to the solo home run from Drew Galassi. First pitch strike pours in. A changeup from Thacker, who has gone to that changeup no matter the count. Now 1-1, and that first pitch changeup is interesting. Jen, something we actually had the pleasure of chatting with Donovan Thacker's college coach back at Madonna, Justin Karn, and he said the change, as he goes off speed once again there, 76 miles per hour, is a pitch that he really discovered kind of in the latter stages of his college career, in addition to a fastball with high velocity and a slider, but it's the changeup that comes out of the same arm slot as that fastball, which can be so effective for him. And you keep hitters off balance when you can throw that on an 0-0 count. Climbs upstairs this time at 87. Now 2-2.
And specifically when we look at Thacker in the past, he may have been able to overpower guys when you look back to his college days, but when you start to reach the next level of competition like you do here in the USPBL, they get a little bit better, so you have to be able to throw off different batters with your different velocities.
Is grounded to third. Spencer McGee there today. Throw to Noah Moore is just in time to retire the side. So getting to second there for the Unicorns was Gurriel. However, able to work out of it once again as Thacker gets the ground ball he needed. We'll step aside momentarily here on the USPBL network. Unicorns still up 1-0.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, With free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a fifth third better.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network, where Greg Shanahan is getting set to take the mound in relief of Miguel Sereno, who was able to work 3 scoreless innings for Utica. So Shanahan, fastball slider mix. That's where the vast majority of his pitches will look like. Had some trouble the other day with walks and control. A guy who went through Tommy John surgery, but Jenna told us prior to the season that with all the work that he does with the DVS system, run by Justin Orendoff, and it's a system that allows for pitchers to find the most efficient motion for their bodies from a health standpoint and from a successful pitching standpoint. He feels as though the command of his pitches will be better this season. One of the nicer guys that you'll ever chat with. Again, we had 2 pretty nice guys on the mound so far today for Utica, Miguel Sereno and Greg Shanahan. Love talking to Greg, love talking to Miguel. And Greg, a native of Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, Shanahan was one of the first pitchers that we actually met during Media Day, Jason, coming here to USPBL. Him and Zane Collins, both ridiculously nice. But, I mean, you know, bouncing back from something like Tommy John, I can't imagine. Shanahan was saying it took him 3.5 years to be able to throw without pain.
Good to see him back on the mound because he had an early injury this season. The first inning that he pitched, slipped off the mound and then was hit by a ground ball. It wasn't really the ground ball, though, that injured him. It was more of the slip off the mound. I saw him smiling on the concourse the other day, and it made me smile because I was just so happy to see him back. First batter he faces is Lamar Briggs, who's playing center field today for the Woolly Mammoths. Batting .300 on the young season. Watches a fastball pouring up above the zone for ball 1. Takes the second pitch to left field. Ranging over is Karza. He'll watch it draw foul.
What's interesting about Briggs is, you know, we love to talk about Jason and ask players specifically who they love to emulate at the next level, and who he likes to look at is outfielder Andrew McCutchen from the Phillies. His swing, he says that they have a lot of similarities at the plate, from the stance to the swing, again, the playing style as well, and stature. So when he watches McCutchen, he feels like he's seeing himself, and he's able to utilize that footage when he wants to fix anything in his swing in the offseason.
Guy who prides himself on work ethic, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast.
You can see he's pretty comfortable in that 3-hole. I mean, that's where he spent most of his college career and last season.
Grew up playing 3 different sports. The 1-2 is stopped nicely by the catcher Ryan Ray, who had to slide over to stop that in the dirt. Nobody on, but again, Briggs played 3 sports growing up. It's kind of the early stages of high school when he realized that, you know, baseball might take me the furthest. And he felt that he loved working on his craft when it came to baseball, more so than other sports.
It shows the kind of personality that he has, because, again, we talked before that he said that baseball is a sport where you're going to fail more times than you succeed. So to be able to pick this sport and to power through it says a lot about his character.
Shanahan working quickly. A walk to lead off the inning here for Briggs. That brings up Noah Moore, another former Madonna Crusader. The starter today for the Woolly Mammoths was a former Madonna Crusader and Donovan Thacker on the mound. Moore didn't catch Thacker today, but he did catch Thacker in Donovan's very first start, which was something that was such a calming presence for Thacker, making his first pro start. Kind of settles you down when you're working with a guy who you spent so much time with in college. Gee, speaking of Madonna, one of your home runs back in your college days came to straightaway center field against the Crusaders. So if you wanted to, you could maybe talk a little trash to the Madonna guys.
Well, I was waiting until Jeremy would be with us. Maybe he's listening at home, but yeah, got us up. We were tied at 5, so put us up 7-5, 2-run home run.
I love it.
I know, right? So looking back on my glory days.
I couldn't resist bringing that one up.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't bring up my high school stats yet in the broadcast. It's already the bottom of the 4th.
Don't open the door because I'll walk right through it. Again, Jason Ross Jr. alongside former Lawrence Tech outfielder Jenna Rose and former .564 hitter in high school. 302 your freshman year, by the way, as well at Lawrence Tech. The 1-0 from Shanahan is a strike called, 1-1. Mentioned Shanahan's issues with walks so far. Now has 6 total walks in just 1 1/3 innings pitched this season. A throw down to second is not in time as Briggs swipes second base. Now, you look at the 6 walks, though, for Shanahan. You do have to note that he entered his previous outing, I should say relief outing, with the bases loaded. So instantly, naturally as a bullpen pitcher, you're used to working out of the stretch, but has faced some tough situations so far this year. Just trying to find the command of his pitches, though, so far, and looking for strikes called out of Shanahan.
That does say a lot about Shanahan, though, for the manager to put his trust in him to bring him into those tight situations.
His 2-1 is swung on and missed by Noah Moore.
We've been talking about Madonna, Jason. Going back to Moore's college days, he tried to change his swing heading into his senior year. His attack angle got a little too steep, wasn't on plane, but right when he adjusted, he started to drive the ball more, but to the pole side. But as we can see already today, he can drive the ball to multiple sides of the field.
Ray lost track of that behind the plate, and Briggs advances to first. So all of a sudden, the tying run potentially is 90 feet away from home plate. And a full count to Noah Moore. Greg Shanahan still trying to nail down his control. First time this season working with the catcher Ryan Ray. Here comes the 3-2, gets a big swinging strikeout.
Next up, the right fielder number 2, Jalen Smith.
Brings up Jalen Smith. Second-year USPBL player. A right fielder will take a pitch inside for ball 1.
We look back to 2020. He spent some time with every team in the league. 17 with the East Side, 13 with the Beavers, 6 for the Unicorns, and only 4 for the Mammoths. But as we can see, he's looking pretty cozy in that blue and white uniform.
Bounces to short here. Curiel will go to first. However, the run scores. And we are now knotted up at 1 apiece as the only play was at first.
Again, if you put the ball in play, things will happen.
Manufacturing runs, as we've talked about. Doesn't always have to be the ball hit over the fence.
We've just talked about how contagious hitting can be, especially when we look back to the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers snapping a consecutive 19-inning scoreless streak the other night here at Jimmy John's.
The first pitch pours in at 90 miles per hour to Guzman. This is lifted to right field. Tracking back for it is Noah Childress. And that'll do it. So 1-1 after 4 innings of play on the USPBL network.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $189 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Jason Raj Jr. Very excited to be alongside Jenna Rose today, who will make her singing debut this next half inning. Taking me out to the ball game.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to sing about it. We're all here.
You're half an inning away.
You're watching at home.
You kind of have
don't
to
need to
embrace
sing
it,
this
Jen.
song.
You're half an inning away. And last few innings have been pretty quick for this guy, Donovan Thacker. So the ground ball outs. He's found pitches low in the zone that have induced weak contact, working away from the barrel of the bat, as we've talked about. The slider, the change, the fastball have all been incorporated. We've seen that changeup be very effective of late. Jen has talked about earlier in the broadcast, only threw 2 changeups in his debut. Increased that number in start number 2, and we've seen it again backed up in number 3. And now a 1-1 game after the sacrifice that brought home the run in the bottom half of the 4th. As we expected, these two playing a pretty good one. Utica and Westside atop their respective divisions entering today. And these two teams have been working very good at bats, have had excellent pitching. For Utica, potentially on track to make it 4 consecutive games, allowing less than 3 runs. Each of the last 3 games, they've allowed less than 3 runs, which aligns with what they had last year, winning the championship. Really started with pitching, had a 2.95 combined team ERA, which was the lowest in the USPBL. On the flip side, the Woolly Mammoths so far this season have the lowest combined team ERA at 2.54. So 2 teams that have been very good from a pitching standpoint, and we have a 1-1 game because of it. Top of the 5th, off we go. John Hodo takes a strike called. Jen, Hodo's swing right now is interesting, has struggled of late. 0 for 1 today. As the 0-1 pours in, it's lifted to center field. Taking a route to it is Briggs to make the catch. Now 0 for 2. We talk about little details of swings, such as head movement, hand movement, lower body movement. For Hodo, it's those adjustments that perhaps need to change a little bit right now.
Yeah, essentially it's a slight tweak. Again, we talked about earlier in the broadcast that he was trying to hit for power, and while that's something you want to do, you just need to rely on your natural athleticism. He's been playing the game. He has the muscle memory with his swing mechanics, but just keeping your head on the ball and powering through the zone, he'll get the job done. No need to do too much. That's, again, an issue that we saw with Galassi earlier in the season. He just has to rely on his athleticism and keep that batter's eye.
Leska takes a pitch outside for ball 1. A guy who is constantly working on refining his swing, puts in a lot of work in the offseason. 1 for 2 today with a single out of the leadoff spot as the order turns over for the 3rd time today. So 3rd time these guys in the Utica lineup are now seeing Donovan Thacker. And it's a quick 2-0 hitters count for Leska.
Luxka has said in the past that everything goes with success at the plate. His hands, his body, his legs, and specifically his timing. And that's something he got into the habit of doing at 17 or 18 years old, just vigorously working on his timing, because he says, if my body is not in the right position to hit a pitch, then I'm not going to take a good swing at it. And as we can see through his stats so far this season, he's consistently been a strong presence in the batter's box.
Yeah, batting .400, you mentioned the high school days. He was lightly recruited coming out of high school, had 2 offers. Madonna was one of them. That's where he ended up going, which is just about 20 minutes away from here. So typically has a lot of family members in the stands to watch him. His dad tried to get him into hockey when he was younger, but Frankie wasn't a huge fan of skating, so transitioned into t-ball and never looked back. Gee, you have a similar story with your wonderful dad, Paul.
My wonderful dad, Paul. I do not blame Luxka whatsoever. I came from a hockey family, so my dad tried to put me out in the ice and skates. I think I was 3, and I did not have any of it. Softball was where it was at for me. Tennis wasn't my thing, but I totally agree with him. Different game, and obviously we can see he just has that innate ability and skill set that fits the mold of what you need to be as a baseball player. The plate discipline, the strength, and that mix of a reactionary approach while thinking ahead and having that baseball IQ.
Yeah, we mentioned adjusting now third time through the order. Luxka told us that his adjustments tend to come off pitch recognition. There's a lot of studying ahead of time. Now Ryan Ray making his first start at catcher today for Unicorns. Pops that one up, first pitch swinging, drifting back as the catcher Horner. And he makes the catch. So Ray quickly and frustratingly retired.
Yeah, batters are definitely starting to get comfortable in the box. We could see that he was aggressive going for the first pitch. So excited to see what some of the batters are able to do, whether it be against Thacker or the other starting pitcher, Shanahan, as the game goes on.
That brings up Drew Galassi. Now back-to-back games with a homer after his solo shot to left field back in the top of the third. Trying to spark a 2-out rally, swings and cuts and misses at the first pitch there.
Seeing the kind of power that Galassi is able to generate, we might be seeing him again for a post-game interview. Perfect setup. I can see him, the batter on right now, 2 outs.
Batting a ridiculous .368 so far this season. Guy who has such great plate discipline. I had that wonderful quote the other day with you, Jen, said before the season I'd always try to be the big home run hitter, but felt that I was failing more often than not. Then he said this past season made the change to going more for hard contact. Saw huge jumps based off that adjustment. Strikeout numbers were down at .345 with 15 home runs last year, and has backed that up this season, as we noted now, with the team leading 3 home runs combined with that .368 batting average, and has a hitter's count here at 2-1 with a runner at first. A pitch from Thacker clips the outside corner, 2-2.
Implementing more of a rhythm in his swing has allowed him to have more adjustability to stay on those harder velocities and sharper breaking pitches.
The 2-strike approach, Jen, is interesting with Galassi because it's already simplified more so than a lot of batters. He doesn't have a stride on his swing, meaning there's no movement with that front foot, which is interesting. He'll do that on any count, not just 2 strikes.
Yeah, it seems like the major adjustment that you can see with the 2-strike approach is that he does choke up on the bat just a little bit to make sure that his hands can get through fast through the zone.
Still maintains that power, though, evidently, as we saw earlier, despite not having much of a stride. That was a bomb to the opposite field earlier. Here comes the 2-2. It is delivered to the opposite field once again, and this dunks down for a base hit in front of Antonio Carta. Runners at first and second with 2 outs, as the Unicorns try to spark a little 2-out rally here in the top of the 5th.
You know, talking with Willie Martin earlier today, he's involved in player development. Again, one of the things that he's been saying is that he wants batters to have the consistently have their best swing, consistently make quality contact, and that is something that Galassi has been able to do throughout his time here in the USPBL.
Good time to reach. Noah Childress steps up to the plate. He was one of 3 unicorns that homered off Willie Mammoth's pitching on Friday night. And that pitch gets away from Colton Horner. Runners advance 90 feet on to second and third.
With 2 outs in a tied ball game, Childress is one of the batters that you want to have step into the box, especially this part of the lineup. We have Galassi, Childress, and then on deck is Sakopoulos.
By contrast, if you're a pitcher, this is not who you want to see, which is why Colton Horner and Donovan Thacker will talk things over on the mounds. Noted Noah Childress's prolific college career that wrapped up this spring at Lourdes University, where he was the WAC Conference Player of the Year on the NAI level. Led the conference in practically every category. You name it, he probably led it. Batting average, slugging percentage, runs, hits, RBIs, homers. All 3 of his home runs have come to left field so far this season.
We've talked about having that mix of being a reactionary hitter as well as being smart, anticipating the next pitch, but Childress says he's really just up there hunting anything that's over the heart of the plate.
I was just thinking about that, Jen. 2-0 count here. His mentality is aggressiveness. Takes the cut and belts it. A line drive into left field. It'll be an RBI line drive, bringing home 2 runs and giving Utica the lead. 3-1 here in the top of the 5th.
We can even see, just looking at Childress' swing, he's able to generate that power with his lower half. Again, takes his hands through the zone, and is able to put the ball in play. That's all that you need, especially with that power. He's able to get the job done. As we can see, the Unicorns are up 3-1.
Looks like that'll be the last batter that Donovan Thacker will face. We'll step aside here on the USPBL network while they sort things out. 3-1 Unicorns, top of the 5th.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Welcome back to the USPBL network. Colin Ledbetter takes the mound. 2-seam slider and change mix. So the first relief pitcher of the day for the Woolly Mammoths after Donovan Thacker goes a full 4 before losing track of things with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. It was a rally that was started by Drew Galassi, and ultimately Noah Childress brings home 2 runners after a hit by pitch, set him up in second and third. Beg your pardon, this is Johnny Breedenthal on the mound today. He will take the first relief outing for the Woolly Mammoths. So see if he can settle down here. Again, 2 outs and a rally brewing for the Unicorns, which has now made it a 3-1 game.
Breedenthal's finding himself going up against the latter half of the heart of this Utica lineups order, which has to be a bit of a sigh of relief given that he doesn't have to face Childress, isn't going up against Galassi, and we've seen the damage that they've been able to do in the box so far. And we've been talking about Sakopoulos throughout this broadcast, having his first professional home run, 2-run home run on Friday night against the Mammoths. So just looking to build on this momentum for Breedenthal, making sure he's able to get the pitches down in the zone and make something happen.
Breedenthal has a splitter, 4-seam, 2-seam, and curve that he works with. Sakopoulos will watch strike one pour in. So lots of work with there. The 4-seam, the 2-seam. Can go off speed with a splitter. Bottom kind of falls out of that pitch, and the curve as well. Most importantly, though, they just need the one out to get out of what has been a sticky inning.
The mindset of the pitchers in this league, Jason, fascinates me because, again, they're going up against the same 3 teams, the same players day in and day out, but specifically you just have to remain confident in your stuff and hone in on your craft. That's how you work with getting these batters out.
Sakopoulos lifts a fly ball, center field, routine for Lamar Briggs. That's the out they needed, still just a 2-run game as the Woolly Mammoths will try to bounce back in the bottom of the 5th. Before the bottom of the 5th, though, we have a singing presentation. Jenna just lifted up her mic, but I think it's time to pull it back down, G, because we have to sing. Oh, here we go. A sing-along. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. See, this is what... Okay, we're going to start over. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, so let's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out, and the song's over. Ball game.
So yay, we're done.
Jenna's debut on the Take Me Out to the Ball game.
I'm sorry, everyone.
I think we did well. We're going to step aside.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops, too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
So, Jordan Carr will now take the mounds, relieving Greg Shanahan, who initially came out of the bullpen. Third arm we've seen today for the Unicorns. Miguel Sereno made the start. Jordan Carr will take over. And Carr to delve into his pitch mix.
Yeah, we're going to see his 4-seamer, his 2-seamer. He has a lot in here. His curveball, his slider, changeup, and potentially a cutter here and there. But specifically, you know, as an opposing batter, you have to make sure that you're staying on your toes. You're seeing different pitches, different guys. Again, everyone's getting used to each other in this league, but keeping that mix of being a reactionary batter and a smart batter, anticipating what's coming next, whether it be looking at what's in your count or the overall game situation.
Well, the 1-0 to the first batter he faces in Antonio Carta. Now 2-0. Carr works pretty quickly. Jenna just brought up kind of an interesting nugget there. With this being a 4-team league, naturally, the 2-0 is cut on and missed. You start to see the same batters over and over again. Batters start to face the same pitchers. And we ask guys, are you thinking about, say as a pitcher, the hitter's weaknesses versus your strengths, or vice versa with the batter? And oftentimes it has to be about trusting your own stuff, trusting yourself and what you can do. The 2-2 is cranked to left field. Will it dunk in? It will not. It finds the glove of Frankie Luska, who has been good today in left.
Yes, nice catch by Luxka. You know, it comes down to reps because when you're an outfielder, the way that you have to read the ball off the bat, you kind of like intrinsically know where you have to go with it. So smart play on his part to get down, do a little basket catch down in the grass to make sure that he's on plane to catch the ball.
Luska has been so good offensively and defensively of late as Colton Horner, the catcher, steps up to the plate. We talked about Luska's high school years, lightly recruited, and about 17, 18 years of age, only had the 2 offers. Madonna was one of them, as we mentioned. That's where he ended up going, but said, you know, he's kind of had a crazy career up to this point and has utilized that as motivation, plays with a chip on his shoulder when you chat with him, as Horner pokes that foul. Now 1-2 on Horner. We noted that Luska's senior season at Madonna was cut off due to COVID. At the time, though, he was batting .400, leading the team in homers as well. Just got off to a hot start, then had the opportunity to either go back for that 5th year or play pro ball in the USPBL, opted to play in the USPBL, a decision that's paying off for him right now as he continues to work towards what could be a very bright future.
Man, all these Madonna guys. Where's Jeremy when you need him?
I
He'd be
know.
loving this.
Jeremy, we miss you today if you're out there watching. Believe he and the family are up to a fun day, fun Sunday. Two-run cushion for Utica, thanks to the 2-run RBI single for Noah Childress in the top of the 5th with 2 outs, I should say. It was a nice 2-out rally for Utica. Drew Galassi's blast to the opposite field back in the 3rd initially put the Unicorns up 1-0. Woolly Mammoths answered back to tie the game by way of manufacturing a run. We find ourselves now latter stages of the game. 1 out, 1-2 count, as Horner will amp up his grip a bit.
You know, it's funny we're talking about all these Madonna alums, but when we look at the USPBL, there are 6 players from the Oklahoma Arts and Sciences playing in this league. And funny story, Horner was actually catching when the lights went out during the NAIA World Series. The lights went out, the fans were there. I mean, luckily, no one got hurt. You could hear the sound of the ball hit his mitt when the lights went out. But how crazy is that?
That is pretty wild to be in a game of that magnitude and have the lights go out in a big stadium. You know, Oklahoma Arts and Sciences is a prominent school in this league when it comes to alumni, now 6 total. There were 5 on opening weekend rosters from Oklahoma Arts and Sciences, one of the better NAIA programs.
Yeah, they've won 25 straight. They ended up falling to St. Thomas in that game.
This is a high chopper over the mound, over from short to snare is Curiel, able to make the play in time. So Donovan Curiel continues his smooth work at short.
Yeah, we cannot get enough of Curiel over at shortstop. We've talked about his phenomenal pre-pitch approach, and something else that he does so well is that he looks at the location or off speed. He anticipates that where the ball is hit because he said speed dictates what direction the ball will go in, so that's where he makes sure looking to see what they're doing at second and third when it comes to the shift.
Norberto Navarro swings and misses at the first pitch from Jordan Carr, who's off to a nice start in his relief appearance. Miguel Sereno made the start. Greg Shanahan came in next, and now the lefty Jordan Carr working to the right-handed hitter Navarro. Carr works quickly. It is 15 seconds or less, even out of the windup. 0-2 is high. Pitch where he didn't necessarily need a strike. Just kind of expanding the zone there. You look down and you might miss a pitch with Carr on the mound. And again, the second time in 3 days these two teams have matched up. Second time in 3 days it's come down to the late stages.
Yeah, you've got to be careful going up against a pitcher like Carr because, as you're saying, if you're not paying attention, that can throw off your rhythm and timing when you're getting ready to attack the ball. You can see he's been driving a couple to the right side so far during this at-bat.
This is flared to right field, hooking and foul over towards the right field berm. Jen, something I've learned from you as you see fans off in the distance here, sunbathing on a sun-kissed 75-degree day. Something I've learned from you is that hitting is the art of timing, while pitching is the art of disrupting that timing. This is looped right to second into the glove of John Hodo. Short side on the side.
I was jokingly going to say I couldn't say it better myself, and I was like, wait, I did say that.
You did. I learned that from you. I pointed it out that I learned it from you. Meanwhile, we'll step aside here on the USPBL Network. Unicorns up 3-1 over the Woolly Mammoths.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA councils.
So Bridenthal steps back out on the mound for the Woolly Mammoths. His, I should say, first full inning of work. Was able to wrap up the fifth. Got the final out of the fifth after Donovan Thacker was pulled. That was the 2-out rally that Noah Childress wrapped up with the 2-run RBI single. Showcasing his power to the pull side once again. So now again the first full inning of work here for Breedenthal, and he'll face Aaron Takis, who's kind of still easing his way back in after missing the last few with an injury. 0 for 2 today. Had that excellent start, 4 walks, 3 hits in his first 7 at-bats. Top of the 6th is underway. First pitch fastball at 88. High for a ball. Takis, like most of his Utica teammates, has such good plate discipline. That skips away from the catcher, Colton Horner. Again, kind of a upright, square stance for Takis. Not overcomplicated, not a lot of wiggling of the bat going on, just fairly simple, I guess, would you say?
No, simple is a very good way to describe it, and that's very essential to have in a swing, especially when we've talked about some of the players in this league struggling with having that mentality of wanting to be a home run hitter, and that is possible to do. You can't achieve that just relying on your pure athleticism. So for Takis to have a simple stance, be able to have a simple swing, he's able to tap into that power that we've been able to see in previous at-bats.
3-1, ball 4. Takis will take the free pass at first. Unicorns leading the USPBL in walks drawn this season with 26 so far through 7 games. Brings up Jordan Finney. We've talked about his story tonight. Beg your pardon, this afternoon. Swings and misses at the first pitch. Again, the local kid went to Kingswood High School, then played his college ball at Albion.
You know, I know baseball and softball are different, but I have some beef with the field over at Cranbrook Kingswood. There's a giant tree out in center field. So it was so confusing because then, you know, the the rules of the park are different when you have that big tree out in center. I could not stand it whenever we would have to go play there. Sorry. Back to the game.
Venting is necessary every now and then. Everyone needs to vent in life. That pitch brushes up and in on Finney. Did it catch him? I believe it did. So, hit by pitch. Follows up the walk that led off the inning. And all of a sudden, Jordan Carr will find himself in a conversation with Colton Horner, trying to search for the control a bit here. Westside down to their final 6 outs, and certainly in need of a quick, snappy inning here, but that's not what it's started off looking like for Jordan Carr. Nobody out, runners on first and second.
We've talked about how important it is just to put the ball in play, and having someone with the same amount of speed as Curiel has, if he's just able to make contact, there's a likely chance he could beat out the throw.
Curiel runs a 4-2 up the line, and that gets past Horner. Runners will advance 90 feet. Takis on to second, Finney on to third. Purple shirts in scoring position with nobody out and a 1-1 count. Jenna mentioned Curiel's speed. Most think of him as one of, if not the fastest guy in the league.
As a batter, this is one of the situations that you want to find yourself in to be able to add some cushion to help your team.
Certainly puts pressure on Carr here, who's used to working out of the stretch, but nobody out. Speedy guy at the plate, and runners at second and third. Difficult, sticky situation. Those 3, 4, 5 hitters getting the job done once again today for Unicorns. Galassi, Childress, Sakopoulos. This is flared to the opposite field in right, looking up into the sun. And catching what will turn out to be a sac fly is Jalen Smith. That cushion that Jenna talked about increases. And it's 4-1 here in the top of the 6th.
Nice poke by Curiel. Didn't really need to rely on his speed there. He did with his hands going through the zone, but along with that, I mean, again, just putting the ball in play helps the team.
Brings up John Hodo. Talked about the adjustments he's looking to make. Now third time up to bat, 0 for 2 today. Has struggled of late. But maybe with the runner at third here, a chance to take advantage of a little pressure on Carr. With less than 2 outs. Wonder if they continue to play this strategically or if Hodo goes up swinging away. Good take there. 1-1 the count now. The 1-1 is grounded to third. Spencer McGee is there to toss to first. However, another one gets home in the form of Aaron Takis. So now 5-1 with 2 outs. As this one beginning to slip out of the hands of Jordan Carr and consequently the Woolly Mammoths here in the top of the 6th.
This is definitely one of the faster games to grace Jimmy John's Field, specifically looking back at last night, coming in 5:30. I don't think I got into my car until 11. Yeah.
Well, gee, I think I got in my car at 11:11, which is wish time. I think people were making a few wishes that maybe things would move along a little swifter today. Nonetheless, a fun doubleheader of baseball yesterday that saw the Beavers and Diamond Hoppers split. today. Second of 3 matchups this weekend between the Unicorns and Woolly Mammoths. Copy that. Frankie Luska up to bat here for now the 4th time today.
Luxka is comfortable against both righties and lefties. One of the guys that you definitely want to have in the box.
Had the single to lead things off. This is a fly ball to right field. Carrying and gone. Frankie Luska. I beg your pardon, that stayed in the yard. And the throw back to the infield is not in time, so a double for Luska. Nonetheless, an extra base hit. The 14th extra base hit of the season for the Diamond Hoppers, beg your pardon, the Unicorns, leading the USPBL.
You know, that fooled me too, Jason.
Yeah,
that was a nice read by Smith, though. You got to do what you can to get back to the warning track. What's important is when you know it's either going to go over the wall or go to the wall, you have to be ready to get it on the bounce. So he was able to find the ball and then try and make the throw over to second. Quick play there, but Luxka, we've been talking about the power of his bat. I mean, he can send it to all fields, and we've talked about that plate discipline that he has and the timing he's been working on every single offseason. So he's definitely a powerful batter.
Brings up Ryan Ray, who's done the catching duties today. Swings and misses at the first pitch. Had a frustrating pop out last time he was up to bat to the catcher on the first pitch. That was back when Thacker was still in the game. On the mound for the Woolly Mammoths. He got the start today. The right-hander went 4 innings. Now they're swinging a miss. That time at 78 miles per hour on the curveball. You see the splitter, the 4-seamer, the 2-seam, and the curve from Breedenthal. That gets past Horner. We've seen that a couple of times today. A couple of times over the past few innings, I should say. And runner advances now to third. So it was Luska's double. And then that ball slipping past Horner. So once again, been a prominent theme over the past couple of innings. A runner is 90 feet away from scoring. Back-to-back innings for the Unicorns, plating at least 2 runs.
Even though the Unicorns are up by 4, this is an opportunity for Ryan to show what he can do here in the USPBL, to take a hold of this opportunity, even though there's 2 outs.
Goes down swinging there. Nonetheless, the Unicorns plate 2 more runs. They've scored 4 over the past 2 innings. We'll take a moment to remind you that you can enter for a chance to win $250 and 4 front row tickets to the championship game. Text Chevy Detroit to 555-888. Visit ChevyDetroit.com/USPBL for the official rules.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the 9th and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the 9th, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Jen, apparently we have a pretty funny comment going.
Yeah, no, I just thought this would be something that you would like to hear, Jason. It's from
Oh,
Joe
I don't know
Takis.
if okay. Do I want to hear this?
Yes, he said
Okay.
legendary pipes. And
Oh,
I'm
thank
assuming
you. Thank you. I
he is
appreciate that, Joe.
referring to the singing. Jason, you know, it's so fun walking around with you and you go to games because everybody does compliment your voice. You do have the voice.
Oh, thank you,
You're doing
Jen.
play-by-play, and not only that, you back it up with the talent, the amount of preparation you put in.
Thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate that. So fun working with you today, making our debuts in the play-by-play and analyst chair, filling in for Jeremy. It's been a fun one. Beautiful day for baseball.
Got to get matching bucket hats.
That would be the next move.
Yes.
That'll be our attire in the booth next time around.
I know, I have it around my neck. I'm bummed I can't put it on. I
It's
can
a
kind
little
of put it on
difficult
over
with
my
the
headset.
There we
It
go.
Just, I don't think it looks that good. No? No. It's okay.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, G. Like, do you, you know? So now stepping onto the mound for Utica Unicorns, we have Keon Taylor, who features the two-seam slider and change-up.
We've been talking about sticky situations. Looking back at the last game, he also came into a tough situation, about of an inning, but essentially he kind of did the same thing as Shanahan. He came in, started off with a walk, but then he was able to close it out with a strike. So he's definitely someone that you could be confident having in those high-pressure situations. But right now they have that cushion. Unicorns are up by 4.
This is what's the great Don Drysdale called the shutdown inning, after your offense gets after it, and perhaps it'll be Taylor who could close things out. You see he has that sidearm delivery, which is particularly tough on right-handers. Not quite as bad on lefties, but when you have a righty up to bat, the deceptiveness of that, it almost looks as though the pitch is coming at you as if it's going to hit you, then just breaks over the heart of the plate. This will get through into right field, so a hit to lead off the inning from Bauer, who's in the leadoff spot today. Again, game not over yet. Westside down to their final 6 outs, but you put a runner on first, bring up a guy in Spencer McGee, who hit the first homer of the season in the USPBL this year. A bat that's from either side of the plate, left or right, because he's a switch hitter, has some nice power to it.
Yeah, we can see from that hit there, Bauer was able to stay on the inside of the ball, pulling it to the right. Hopefully McGee can do the same thing.
Yeah, McGee opting to bat from the left side against the right-hander. We've seen him going back and forth over the last couple of days.
We have talked about how he has power from that side, but specifically looking at when he does hit left, he does say that timing has been an issue.
There's that slightly open stance, pokes that into left field. It'll drop foul. McGee a bit more kind of up and down movement with the hands. Jen, something I learned from you as well is a guy by the name of Franklin Ticket Stubbs, who used to talk about the singing and getting a tune in your mind to establish your timing.
Jason, what song would you sing?
I was just going to ask you the same question. I think I'd go with, if you want me to sing again,
you know.
Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Ha, 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 ha. Staying alive, staying alive. Ha, 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 ha. Staying alive.
As long as it's not the...
I think that could get me
As
rolling.
long as it's not the Michael Scott version.
Yeah, no, we don't want to have to resuscitate anyone in the booth today.
Well, after hearing you sing like that, I don't know.
Okay. Shots fired in the bottom of the 6th. McGee fouls off a 2-2.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be resuscitated at that point. You could just leave me on the ground here in the press box.
Oh, Jen.
Oh, Jay. It's a good thing we're friends.
This is true. 2-2. Just off the outside part of the plate, full count. Well, Keon Taylor pitched at Georgetown College, 6'4", but as you see, peers over and delivers from that sidearm angle. Slider has a lot of late breaking action. Goes to it there. Throw down to second. Is not in time, and it gets through into center field. So now runner in scoring position. Get a strikeout there, but it'll be swinging for 1 out. And runner does advance to second, as we noted, with Lamar Briggs stepping up to the plate. It's Trent Bauer at second in the DH role today. Briggs playing in center field and trying to spark a rally with 5 outs remaining for the Woolly Mammoths. If you're new to the USPBL, we play 7 innings. To Hopper to third, and a routine second out. Score at 5-3, Takis to Sakopoulos.
You know, I can't imagine what that does to a player mentally, especially in the game of baseball, having to revert from going full 9 innings to 7. I mean, softball, you know, seems pretty fun, right? But I mean, along with that, too, the international tiebreaker being implemented into the sport. Saw some of that last night here at Jimmy John's Field.
And Beavers pulled off an extra innings win to cap off the second of that doubleheader yesterday. This was a 1-1 game entering the 5th inning. And then a 2-out rally that was capped off by a 2-run RBI single from the bat of Noah Childress on a line drive hit into left field. Made it a 3-run game. And then a kind of a sloppy 6th led to 2 more runs being plated from Utica. That has us where we are right about now, 5-1. Unicorns trying to extend their league best 5-1 record to 6-1. The defending champs with Keon Taylor. 0-2 is flared foul. Noah Moore, former Madonna Crusader, up to bat now with 2 strikes on him.
Moore's 0 for 2 at the plate so far during this game. Again, all you have to do is put the ball in play. He has the power. Again, even in the catching position, he has that power arm. Not seeing it at first base today, but
goes down swinging. That'll retire the side, so Bauer gets in scoring position. But we noted how tough Keon Taylor, that you see on your screen right now, is on righties. 5-1 Utica. We head to the top of the 7th on the USPBL network when we come back.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better. With free checking and fraud protection services, 166.7% is possible.
166.7.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Hello. Lovely home, by the way, but it looks like you could use some new flooring.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you get 4 years interest-free financing. Plus, we're taking extra precautions to ensure the safety of our customers.
Be wise and call the Carpet Guys.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. Finishing up this one today, now into the top of the 7th. Colin Ledbetter steps back atop the mound. Jen, we have the cotton candy energy drink to finish out the day so far.
Yes, I'm not sure if this is a hot take or not, but I'm convinced that anything that is cotton candy flavored is automatically good.
Give us your response to that in the comments. Again, this is quote unquote from Jenna. Anything cotton candy flavored is good. She's got a cotton candy energy drink going in the booth right now. And she has put herself on the hot seat by telling the world. I kind of told the world that, but you followed it up. I opened the door, you walked through it.
All 85 of you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I just think it's so good. I mean, do you have any like hot takes with any flavors or food?
Ooh. I don't know why my mind went to like smells, but should I go food or okay?
No, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, okay, this is just kind of weird, but I mean it's summertime, right? So
yeah,
you know we're at the ballpark, baseball smells, summer smells. The smell of sunscreen?
No, I totally agree with that. I feel like it's like a nostalgic scent because I always think about like childhood summers, being outside, enjoying the beautiful great outdoors like most of the fans are doing here at Jimmy John's today. It's a beautiful day. And I mean, if you look here like right behind home plate, they've got a nice setup here being in the shade. Like not like down, but up here.
Well, cotton candy drinks, the smell of sunscreen, and Drew Galassi home runs. Those are a few things you can get at Jimmy John's Field.
And cotton candy.
There we go. And cotton candy. Galassi got the party started back in the 3rd with his team leading 3rd home run of the season. Might be a quick out here. It is. First pitch swinging and a ground out. Roberto Navarro to Noah Moore. Score that one 4-3.
Yeah, we're definitely heading into an aggressive part of the lineup, especially with Childress and Galassi. It seems like later as they go into games, they're more likely to swing at the first pitch, which has been a constant theme. But it seems sometimes that's resulted in a couple of ground outs. That's something I've noticed specifically with Childress. But again, they both have the power. They do have the plate discipline, but we'll have to see here.
Childress has now driven in 6 this season. Last time he was up to bat, it was a line drive to left field that brought home Galassi along with Sakopoulos, or beg your pardon, Galassi and Luska. That was what gave Utica the lead that they have not since surrendered. And Breedenthal just trying his best to work a 1-2-3 inning here and then hope for some magic out of the bats of the Woolly Mammoths in the bottom of the 7th. We have seen big innings out of Westside this season. Their first win of the season came over the Diamond Hoppers, and that was a 5-0 win. All 5 runs came in the 5th, and they had 9 base runners throughout the course of that big 5-run 5th inning. So it's a group that has potential in the bats for Westside if they can get a rally going, but have not done that. We'd imagine, as that pitch is fouled back, that Keon Taylor, the submarining right-hander, would be back on the mound for the bottom of the 7th to try to close things out, pick up a save. The 1-2, big swing and a miss. Struck him out. Childress, who swings aggressively. That'll bring up the first baseman, Ari Sakopoulos, with 2 outs. Breedenthal looking for the big final out. It's a bridge to the bottom of the 7th. Give his lineup one last chance down to their final 3 outs. Sakopoulos, just a couple of games into his professional career, wasn't on the opening day roster, but has made a prompt impact as he was a little frustrated, swung late on that pitch. Had his first professional hit on Friday. Followed that up. Next AB, first professional home run. Guy with a lot of potential if they really like being a left-handed stroke. Jen, on the woolly mammoth side of things, if Breedenthal can get this out here, when you're down 5-1, bottom of the seventh, theoretically speaking now, I'd imagine mindset aggressive, but when you've been in those positions, where do you find that balance between aggressiveness and still being patient and selective at the plate?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough call when it comes to those situations, but again, we just talked about being a smart batter. You can still hit for power, but not necessarily always having a home run swing. Being able to adjust your timing and be able to catch pitches, whether you're thinking ahead to what they could potentially be or also just reacting. It's hard, but if one person is able to spark a rally, then again, hitting's counts. And we've seen with the bats in the USPBL, we have strong hitters. We have a lot of power bats. It just comes down to getting the job done.
One and two now with 2 outs. Breedenthal's offering is grounded to second. Navarro to Moore to retire the side. And now the Woolly Mammoths will have one last gasp when we come back on the USPBL Network.
Only at your Chevrolet certified service dealer do you get tires engineered specifically for your vehicle and a price match guarantee.
With our tire price match guarantee, if you find a better price within 30 days of purchase, we'll refund the difference. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
So stepping onto the mound now, we have Brandon Krenrich for Utica, and Jen delving into his arsenal, the right-hander.
Yeah, when you look at his arsenal, he utilizes his fastball 50% of the time. And again, along with that, you'll see his slider half and half, pretty much very little with his changeup. But looking to keep the Mammoths quiet as the game winds down.
We were wondering if it would be Keon Taylor coming back out to close it. Instead, it is Krenrich, who has been in this role before. Jenna noted he can bring the velocity in that fastball, and the slider plays off it well. Talked with Drew Galassi the other day, and I believe this was something he said to Jeremy recently, that when you're seeing different arms out of the pen, 3, 4, 5 different one each time up to bat, as a hitter, when you're trying to adjust to, say, a starter third or fourth time through the order, that becomes a little easier. But when you're constantly seeing different velocities, righty versus lefty, that's when it can be difficult to get your timing down, as Jalen Smith hopes to find some timing against a right-hander who will hope to close this one out, Krenrich. And Smith aggressively first pitch swinging. That will be the catch is made into the glove of Luska, who has been excellent today, both defensively and offensively.
Yeah, Luxka just possesses that sixth sense, both offensively and defensively, being able to identify pitches at the plate and be able to read the ball off of the bat extremely well out in the outfield. Again, we talked about that muscle memory before, Jason, knowing when to flip your glove, when to slide, when to take that step back, run for the ball, and Luxka can do it all.
Got a really good there. Of a snow cone grab.
Snow cone.
Sounds pretty good right
does
now.
Sound pretty good.
This is Guzman up to bat. As per usual, he's made some good defensive plays of his own today. Might fly out here, though, to right field, and does. Noah Childress has been good in his right field debut.
Yeah, making a handful of catches out there in right field.
Yeah, the corner outfielders today, Frankie Luxka in left and then Noah Childress in right, have been contributing offensively and defensively. So down to their final out, Antonio Carza. Remember to stick around. We'll have the Autolab post-game show. Jenna will chat with a player on the Utica side after our commercial when this one does wrap up. So stick around for that. Those post-game interviews have been fun. Drew Galassi has been a prominent theme of late. He had the homer today now in back-to-back games. Noah Childress also probably the biggest hit of the day, which gave Utica a lead that they might not surrender here. Isn't looking like they will. All is needed now is one more strike from Krenrich to potentially wrap this up. Is 0-2, just off the outside corner. The 1-2 is swung on and missed. Utica's USPBL best 5-1 record improves to 6-1 thanks to a 5-1 victory over the Westside Woolly Mammoths, making it a sweep over Westside on the weekend. They take each of the two matchups between these sides. Westside will drop to 3-3. What was a fun one, as anticipated. It was a 1-1 game heading into the fifth. That changed thanks to the bat of Noah Childress. Don't forget, when we come back, we will have your Autolab post-game show with Jenna Rose and one of the Utica Unicorns here on the USPBL network.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorn. Unicorn, illuminate the dark with my uniform. My uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. Unicorn, illuminate the dark with my uniform. My uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you.
New flooring from the Carpet Guys is as easy as 1, 2, free. 1, just call the Carpet Guys for fast, free, and home shopping. 2, get massive warehouse direct savings. And 3, I mean free, as in 4 years of interest-free financing. That's 1, 2, free, but only for a limited time. So be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS or visit carpetguys.com today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the ninth and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
Stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time. A shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, go, go. There's no stopping me. No stopping, no stopping.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA councils.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born is a diver's watch. The challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
The Carpet Guys give you warehouse direct pricing and customer service that will knock your socks off.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you can get 4 years interest-free financing. Plus, we're taking extra precautions to ensure the safety of our customers.
Let the Carpet Guys bring the store to your door with prices that will knock your socks off. Be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS. Locally owned and supporting Michigan families.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
They wanted to give me the best opportunity. If I'm hitting the baseball well, a lot of major league teams, they like to see guys that can move around positions and be very versatile. So that's what they've been trying to do a little bit, keep my bat in the lineup. So I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun.
Yeah, and you're sandwiched in between Galassi and Sakopoulos. I mean, you guys are a very strong 3-4-5 punch. Can you talk about what it's like to hit in between those two?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch and to know like they're going to get on base, give me opportunities to drive in RBIs and better myself. Good competition for sure.
And during one of your at-bats today, you had a 2-run single to give your team the lead. Tell us about what went into your approach.
I was just looking for something over the plate. I've been hunting a lot of balls that aren't necessarily me. I got into a good count, 2-0, and I knew he was throwing a lot of off speed, so I just seen it well and got the barrel head on it and did the job.
And this is your first season with the USPBL. You had a stellar career at Lourdes University, but coming into this season, what are some goals that you have and are currently working on?
You know, just to stay attacking fastballs and getting on base. And that's the biggest thing right now is getting adjusted to better pitching, and everybody throws well. So, you know, that's pretty much it, getting RBIs, getting on base, and helping our team win.
And finally, can you just talk about your team's chemistry? I mean, it seems like you guys always have a lot of fun out there, and to have a 5-1 ball game on a pretty beautiful sunny day today.
Yeah, no, I mean, as soon as I got here, they welcomed me right away. You know, we have a lot of fun, a lot of jokes, a lot of laughing around, and I think that definitely contributes to our success on the field.
Well, wishing you continued success. Congratulations on the win. Thank you. All right, and thank you for joining us here on the USPBL Network. We'll see you next week.
No, Childress, I love you!
Thank you so much.